Welcome to the deep dive. Ever wondered how our internal world, our thoughts, our emotions truly impact our physical health? Today, we're embarking on a fascinating journey, really, exploring the profound connection between our consciousness, our body's inherent energy systems, and, well, ultimately, our physical well being. We'll be diving into some groundbreaking perspectives on how the mind can influence the body, leading to sometimes quite remarkable transformations and even healing that, frankly, challenges conventional understanding.
It really does.
And this isn't just about abstract concepts, is it? It's about understanding the underlying biological and energetic mechanisms that govern our health, offering a new framework perhaps for health and human potential, particularly for those of us in the medical and allied health professions.
Absolutely. It has very practical implications.
Yes. Joining me is our incredible expert, Professor Mo Imam, who has a remarkable ability to synthesize diverse research and connect the dots for us. Our mission today is to uncover how individuals, and that includes medical professionals and their patients, can tap into an innate capacity for self-regulation, for healing, and perhaps an enhanced state of being. We'll investigate the science behind thoughts, emotions, and their, well, measurable impact on our biology. Okay, let's unpack this. We often view the body as a sophisticated machine, don't we? A collection of systems that primarily respond to external stimuli. But what if it's far more dynamic, constantly reflecting and responding to our internal world? What does the latest understanding reveal about how our psychological states directly impact our physical health?
It's a crucial distinction then, and one that modern science is increasingly validating. What's particularly striking, I think, is the pervasive nature of chronic stress in contemporary life. It often remains unaddressed for extended periods. Now, our bodies are wonderfully equipped for acute short-term stress responses, the classic fight-or-flight mechanism.
Yes, the survival mode.
Exactly. It's an adaptive system designed for survival, helping us confront danger or, escape it. However, when there's prolonged, continuous exposure to stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol, the body's finely tuned systems they're thrown out of balance. It's not just uncomfortable, it forces the body into a chronic emergency mode. And the truth is, no biological organism can sustain this emergency state indefinitely without significant consequences.
It takes a toll.
A profound toll. When the body is perpetually stuck in this survival mode, vital resources are systematically depleted. The immune system weakens, making us more susceptible to illness, and the body's internal chemistry fundamentally alters. Consider Anna Willems a truly poignant case study that highlights this profound connection. Following the tragic suicide of her husband, Anna developed a cascade of severe health conditions. She experienced paralysis, clinical depression, an aggressive bacterial infection, and erosive lichen planus, which is a painful, chronic inflammatory condition affecting mucous membranes. In her case, it was in her mouth and esophagus. This later progressed to cancer in her esophagus. And on top of this, she was navigating a serious financial crisis, struggling to work, and had even lost saliva production due to medications, making eating incredibly difficult.
That sounds absolutely dire.
It was. And despite 2 years of conventional medical treatment, seeing the best specialists, she simply wasn't improving. Her body, constantly anchored to the past by the intense emotions of stress and trauma, was profoundly manifesting disease. It's a stark reminder, really, of how deeply our internal psychological states can manifest physically when the body remains trapped in a perpetual survival loop.
That's a powerful illustration of the body's deep sensitivity to our emotional states, isn't it? It certainly challenges the idea that physical ailments are solely a matter of genetics or external factors.
It does.
So, if our internal environment can override what we might consider genetic predispositions, could you elaborate on how exactly our thoughts and emotions might influence our genes? It seems like quite a leap for many.
It's an excellent question, and it brings us right into the fascinating and rapidly evolving field of epigenetics. The crucial insight here is that our genes themselves don't physically change. You don't suddenly grow a new gene or lose one. However, their expression does.
Their expression.
Yes. Think of it like this. Your genes are the hardware, but your emotions and your environment, they're like the software that tells that hardware what to do. They provide the precise chemical signals that can effectively turn genes on or off.
Ah, okay. Like switches?
Exactly like switches. For instance, living under the burden of chronic stress hormones can switch on unhealthy genes associated with inflammation and disease. Conversely, and this is where the profound potential lies, elevated emotions such as love, joy, and gratitude can signal entirely new genes for growth and repair.
Really? So positive emotions can activate healing genes.
We've actually observed this in our research. In one particular workshop, 117 participants showed a significant increase in immunoglobulin A, or IgA, a powerful immune protein within just 4 days.
4 days.
Just 4 days of consistently cultivating these elevated emotions. This suggests a remarkable capacity for the body to upregulate its internal defense system without the need for any external substances. It's an internal pharmacy, if you will, directly influenced by our emotional state.
Internal pharmacy, I like that.
This isn't just about feeling better. It's about, well, biologically writing your future with every thought and emotion.
That's a profound shift in understanding. So our daily thoughts and feelings aren't just fleeting experiences. They're actively shaping our genetic expression and long-term health. That really raises an important question then. If we're so easily conditioned into these survival states and our bodies can become, as you say, literally addicted to these familiar emotional chemicals, what's the first practical step someone can take to actually begin to disrupt those deeply ingrained patterns? It sounds incredibly difficult.
It certainly can feel that way, yes. But the key lies in mastering what we call the present moment, or the eternal now. This involves consciously getting beyond our physical identity, our external environment, and even, well, linear time.
Beyond a linear time.
In a sense, when we learn to truly reside in this present moment, we access a field of infinite potentials, a quantum field, where new realities can begin to manifest. You see, our brain and body are often hardwired into familiar patterns because we repeatedly think the same thoughts and feel the same emotions. This creates a predictable future that is essentially a rerun of our past.
Right, stuck in a loop.
Precisely. Our attention and thus our energy becomes tied up in the known elements of our external world, the familiar people, objects, problems, schedules. When all our energy is invested in the known, there's simply no creative energy left to foster something new. Breaking free means consciously disinvesting our energy from that predictable, past-driven future.
So, if our past experiences are literally hardwired into our brains and bodies, how do we create a different future? It sounds like we need to learn how to consciously disrupt these ingrained patterns to truly move forward.
Indeed. And the brain's incredible plasticity is our greatest ally here. The mind has an astonishing power to create neurological changes without any physical action whatsoever.
Without physical action.
Yes. Think of the well-documented piano study. Volunteers who simply mentally imagined playing a 5-finger exercise for 5 days showed similar dramatic new neural circuit formation in their brains as those who physically practiced.
Just by thinking about it.
So by thinking about it consistently, their brains actually looked as if the experience had already happened. This principle also extends to physical performance. At the Cleveland Clinic, a pioneering study found that subjects who imagined flexing their biceps increased muscle strength by 13.5% in 12 weeks.
13%, that's significant.
Very significant. And remarkably, they maintained those gains for 3 months, purely through thought. This clearly demonstrates that by mentally rehearsing new behaviors and desired emotional states, we can effectively install the neurological hardware for a desired future, priming our bodies for entirely new experiences.
So mental rehearsal is like laying down the tracks for the future.
A very good analogy.
Okay.
Now, the ability to do this consistently hinges on our brainwave states. Most of our waking hours are spent in beta brainwave frequencies, which have low, mid, and high ranges. High-range beta is, of course, associated with chronic stress, fear, agitation.
The busy analytical mind.
Exactly. Where the thinking brain is constantly analyzing and focusing on the outer world. The crucial shift is to move into alpha brainwaves. Alpha signifies a more relaxed, calm, creative, and intuitive state where our attention shifts from the outer world to the inner world. This is where the subconscious mind becomes more accessible.
Getting past the critical factor.
Precisely. Even deeper states, like theta, represent a twilight state, profound relaxation, and even greater suggestibility. And gamma brainwaves, which are high-frequency energy, are linked to profound internal experiences, aroused from within rather than from external events. By consciously slowing down our brain waves, particularly moving from beta to alpha and theta, we effectively bypass the analytical mind, that critical filter which typically separates our conscious from our subconscious. This allows us to directly program the autonomic nervous system, which governs all the automatic functions of our body.
So training our minds to inhabit the present moment isn't just a philosophical concept, it's a neurobiological process. It directly frees up energy for profound change. It's about actively disinvesting from our past.
That's right.
When we stop focusing on the knowns of our external environment, the familiar people, objects, problems, schedules, we stop constantly firing the same neural circuits and feeling the same emotions.
You break the cycle.
This process actively disinvests energy from the past and predictable future, allowing it to be called back to the self, building an individual electromagnetic field that can then be used for healing and creation.
Yes, that's the core idea.
But I'm still trying to grasp, how does that energy shift then directly translate into physical changes beyond just the nervous system? How does this invisible aspect of reality actually govern our physical being down to the cellular level?
That's an excellent question, and it brings us right to the heart of, well, quantum biology. The key is to understand that everything in our universe, including us, is fundamentally made of and emits electromagnetic energy, essentially. Light and information.
Light and information?
Yes. This isn't just an abstract concept. It's measurable and profoundly impactful at every level of our being. Your body, for instance, is made of gravitationally organized light, continuously sending and receiving various frequencies, much like a radio or a mobile phone. This understanding leads us to the concept of the quantum field, or unified field. Imagine an invisible field of information and energy that underlies and organizes everything material in the universe. It's a dimension where there's more time than space, meaning linear time as we experience it here in the material world effectively dissolves.
More time than space. That's hard to conceptualize.
It is, but think of it as a vast repository of all possibilities, a blueprint that guides the formation and function of matter. It's the ultimate organizing intelligence.
The blueprint, okay.
Within our own bodies, this energetic blueprint manifests through what we can call energy centers. Ancient wisdom traditions have described these for millennia, and modern science is beginning to find correlations. We have 7 main energy centers, or what we might think of as biological communication hubs, each with its own unique frequency, intent, and associated glands, hormones, and chemistry.
Like chakras.
Similar concepts, yes. These centers are essentially specialized brains that process and express energy. The general flow of creative energy, when we feel safe and balanced, evolves from the lower centers, those focused on survival, sexuality, power, towards the higher centers associated with love, truth, intuition, higher consciousness.
So energy moves upwards, ideally.
Ideally, yes. However, when energy gets stuck due to survival emotions like guilt, shame, anger, or fear, it can manifest as physical or emotional imbalances related to that specific center. It's an important distinction. The lower 3 centers tend to be energy consumers, focused on the self and survival, whilst the upper 5 are more aligned with selfless higher-order functions.
Right. Consuming versus contributing, in a way.
In a way, yes. Now, to connect this back to the cellular level, at the subatomic level, atoms combine to form molecules, chemical, cells, tissues, organ systems. What's holding all of this together and instructing their function is precisely this invisible field of energy and information. German biophysicist Fritz Albert Popp, for example, dedicated decades to studying biophotons.
Biophotons.
Tiny, low-intensity light particles stored within and emitted by all living things. He discovered that these biophotons communicate incredibly effectively with cells, playing a vital role in regulating their function. Healthier cells, in fact, emit more coherent biophotons, indicating a more ordered and efficient communication system.
More coherent light means healthier cells.
Exactly. This profoundly challenges the older, mechanistic view of the body, suggesting that electromagnetic energy, not just charged molecules, is the true life force governing our cells. It's a vitalistic perspective, pointing to an energetic blueprint guiding our biology.
That's a remarkable insight. The idea that every part of us, down to the cellular level, is essentially light and information. It makes you wonder how much deeper this goes, beyond what we typically understand as biological memory. We typically think of memory as residing in the brain. But if our organs carry energetic blueprints, does that imply they hold information too?
It's an excellent point, and some compelling anecdotes suggest precisely that. Consider the famous case of Claire Sylvia, a heart-lung transplant recipient.
Oh yes, I've heard of this.
After her 1988 surgery, she, a professional dancer, developed sudden, inexplicable cravings for chicken nuggets, French fries, beer, green peppers, Snickers bars, none of which she'd previously enjoyed.
That's quite specific.
Isn't it? Her personality also shifted. She became more assertive, even adopting a man's gait, as her daughter jokingly teased. When she later traced her donor, she discovered he was an 18-year-old male who had died in a motorcycle accident. And those very foods were his favorites.
Oh, really?
Really. This strongly implies that vital information, including memories and preferences, can be stored within the energy field of an organ itself. It reinforces the idea that organs are far more than just physical pumps or inert masses of tissue. They carry an energetic blueprint that can influence the recipient.
That anecdote about the organ transplant is truly remarkable. It suggests a deeper informational aspect to our biology that really challenges conventional thought. It makes you wonder how much more interconnected we are than previously thought. And this brings us to another critical piece of the puzzle, the intelligence of the heart.
Ah, yes, the heart.
For centuries, we've focused on the brain as the central command. But recent insights suggest the heart plays an equally, if not more, significant role in our overall health and perception. What does the evidence tell us about the heart's influence?
Indeed, the heart is far more than just a pump. It's an autorhythmic organ, meaning its beat originates within itself even before the brain fully forms in a fetus, at around 3 weeks of gestation. This highlights its inherent intelligence and its capacity to initiate communication with the central nervous system. What's truly revealing about heart-brain communication is that 90% of the nerve fibers connecting the heart and brain are afferent.
Afferent, meaning traveling to the brain.
Exactly, ascending from the heart to the brain. These signals from the heart continuously interact with and modify activity in the brain's higher cognitive and emotional centers. That includes the thalamus, which synchronizes cortical activity, and the amygdala, the brain's survival center.
So the heart is talking to the brain a lot.
A great deal. This means an open heart center, a coherent heart, can effectively keep the brain's survival centers in check, making us less reactive to stressors. It's a two-way street, but with a significant emphasis on the heart influencing the brain.
That's fascinating. And how do we measure this?
A key measure of this heart-brain communication is heart rate variability, or HRV.
HRV, right. I've had clinicians talk more about this recently.
Yes, it's becoming increasingly recognized. HRV is a powerful health indicator, measuring the balance and dynamic interplay between the sympathetic fight-or-flight and parasympathetic rest-and-digest nervous systems. A moderate coherent HRV signifies remarkable adaptability and resilience. It indicates a healthy, responsive system.
So variability is good here.
Yes, a healthy heart is a flexible heart. Conversely, low HRV is a strong and independent predictor of future health problems, including all causes of mortality, and is associated with numerous medical conditions. Whilst HRV naturally decreases as we age, it can be significantly influenced by our internal states and practices. For many years, a steady heart rhythm was mistakenly considered a sign of good health. We now know better.
We need that adaptability.
Precisely. This brings us to the concept of heart coherence. This is a state where the heart beats in harmonious, orderly rhythms. When the heart achieves coherence, something extraordinary happens. Brain waves entrained with the heart's rhythm at a specific harmonious frequency. This significantly enhances synchronization between the heart and brain.
They sync up.
They sync up. This state is associated with increased intuition, emotional balance, and optimal performance. And this is where emotions move beyond mere biology into physics. Sustained, elevated emotions like love, joy, gratitude broadcast an energy that amplifies the brain's activity and creates balance throughout the entire body.
Like the IgA study you mentioned earlier.
Exactly. The significant increase in immunoglobulin A in participants who cultivated elevated emotions is a direct example of the positive cascading effects of heart coherence on the immune system. We've generally observed that when students achieve heart coherence, their hearts respond to consistent elevated emotions for 45 minutes or more. This clearly demonstrates the body reconditioning itself to a new, emotional mind.
So it's trainable.
Very much so. This isn't just about feeling good, it's about measurable physiological transformation that influences our entire being.
It's powerful to consider how our emotional state directly impacts the very rhythm of our hearts and subsequently our brains, literally changing our internal chemistry. This isn't just a metaphor for feeling connected, it's a measurable biological reality. So with this understanding of the heart's profound role, how do we intentionally harness these principles? How do we create tangible changes in our lives and health, particularly in ways that might seem extraordinary or even, dare I say, supernatural?
Well, this is where we delve into the mechanics of activating dormant potentials within us. And one key player in this process is the pineal gland.
The pineal gland, often called the third eye.
Indeed. This tiny central gland perched deep in the brain is remarkably sensitive to all electromagnetic frequencies, including those beyond visible light. It acts as a neuroendocrine transducer.
Meaning it converts energy.
It converts these subtle energies into vivid imagery and profound inner experiences that can feel, quite literally, more real than any past external experience.
Yeah.
When activated, it can release powerful metabolites of melatonin, the dreaming neurotransmitter, contributing to lucid, surreal, or mystical experiences. Significantly, there's an inverse relationship between stress hormones like cortisol and melatonin. Reducing stress allows melatonin levels to rise, setting the stage for these deeper states.
Less stress, more potential for these experiences.
Precisely. Now, activating the pineal gland often involves a specific breathing technique that harnesses the body's own internal resources. By engaging specific internal muscles, particularly in the pelvic floor and abdomen, whilst inhaling slowly and holding the breath, cerebrospinal fluid, that vital fluid surrounding the brain and spinal cord, charged with proteins and salts, is accelerated up the spinal column towards the brain.
You're physically pumping the fluid upwards.
Effectively, yes. This creates what we call an inductance field, essentially, an invisible electromagnetic effect. This field draws energy from the lower survival centers of the body, those associated with basic functions like orgasm, consumption, or the fight-or-flight response. This liberated energy is then delivered to the brainstem and subsequently to higher brain centers, including the pineal gland.
Moving energy from the lower centers to the brain.
Exactly. This rush of internal energy can cause gamma brain waves, a state of brain arousal from internal events, which are crucial for profound internal experiences. It also has the effect of quieting the analytical mind, effectively opening the door to the subconscious. Furthermore, this process releases neurochemicals like oxytocin, known for intense feelings of love, forgiveness, wholeness.
The love hormone.
That's the one. It effectively shuts down the fear response in the amygdala, allowing for a deep state of inner peace and connection. Think of it as accessing your body's innate supercomputer, unlocking capabilities we've long considered impossible, purely through internal focus.
That's fascinating, a targeted physiological mechanism for accessing deeper states and even influencing brain chemistry. And this leads to an even more profound concept, the idea that we hold latent genetic potentials within us, often dismissed as junk DNA. Could you expand on that?
Precisely. We now understand that junk DNA is far from useless. It's more like a vast library of latent genetic potentials, dormant capabilities waiting to be activated.
A library, not junk.
A library. When the body receives a biological upgrade from these activated internal states from a new, elevated internal environment, it can signal these dormant genes. For instance, in a workshop in Tampa, we measured gene expression in 30 participants. The results were astounding. They significantly changed the expression of 8 genes in just 4 days.
8 genes in 4 days. What kind of genes?
Genes involved in critical processes like neurogenesis, the growth of new neurons, cellular repair, eliminating free radicals, and even suppressing cancer growth.
Wow. So activating protective and regenerative genes.
Exactly. These latent genes, we believe, hold the potential for what some might call unlimited genius mind, increased longevity, enhanced capacity to heal, regenerating tissues and organs, photographic memory, the capacity for doing the uncommon. They're simply waiting to be activated by a new internal state of being, a new internal environment that shifts them from dormant to active.
That's a paradigm shift in how we view our genetic inheritance.
It truly is. Now, to integrate these concepts and embody a desired future, we utilize practical tools like mind movies and walking meditations.
Mind movies.
Visual and auditory sequences created by the individual, representing their desired future with clear intentions and elevated emotions. Watching them, particularly with a kaleidoscope to help induce a trance state, makes the subconscious more suggestible to this programming. The brain, through this mental rehearsal, literally begins to look as if the future has already happened. So many people have seen their mind movies manifest directly into their lives.
So you're programming the subconscious visually and emotionally.
Correct. The walking meditation then helps to embody the energy of this desired future in waking life. It's about consciously carrying that elevated state throughout your day, preventing you from falling back into unconscious programs and solidifying the new state of being.
Making it real in daily life.
Exactly. Consider Jace's story as a compelling example of this in action. After graduate school, he desired a new job experience. He clearly defined his ideal: independent contracts, his own boss, a specific income, and most importantly, that he had to love what he did. He then combined this clear intention with elevated emotions, feeling empowered, in love with life, free, grateful, as if it had already happened.
Living the feeling of the future now.
Precisely. By consistently remembering his future and investing his attention and energy into that new reality, the perfect job literally found him through a synchronistic encounter, without him having to send a CV or go through traditional job searching.
That's incredible. It just came to him.
It did. He now works only a few hours a day, makes more money, and even gets to try out surfboard fins, which aligns perfectly with his passion for surfing. This exemplifies how embodying the energy of your future can literally draw it to you.
It's remarkable how these specific internal practices, from focused breathing to visualizing a desired future, seem to unlock the body's deepest healing mechanisms. The shift from junk DNA to a library of potentials is a profound reframe for how we understand our own biology and what's truly possible. Now, the theoretical framework is compelling, but the real power, I suppose, lies in observed outcomes. Let's look at some deeply personal and medically significant case studies that illustrate these principles in action.
Absolutely. These individuals demonstrate the extraordinary capacity of the human body and mind to heal and transform, even in the face of severe conditions, by consciously applying these very principles we've discussed. Their stories are not just inspiring, they provide tangible evidence of what can happen when one fully engages with these processes.
So let's start with Anna Willems again. Her case was so complex.
Yes, let's revisit Anna. Her initial state, as you recall, was dire. Paralysis, clinical depression, aggressive bacterial infection, erosive lichen planus, cancer in her esophagus, financial crisis, emotional wreck, after 2 years of conventional treatment with no improvement. Her turning point came when she realized that if she had created her current state through her emotional responses to trauma, she could, with the same passion, uncreate it.
Taking responsibility for her internal state.
A profound shift. She consistently applied meditations, diligently teaching her body to feel future emotions, love, joy, gratitude, with a passion greater than her stressful emotions. She sustained heart coherence for extended periods and practiced walking meditation. The outcome was astonishing. Her cancer completely healed, the tumor vanished, the mucous membranes in her esophagus, vagina, anus healed. Later, even her saliva production returned to normal 2 years after her husband's suicide and initial diagnosis.
It's a complete reversal.
A complete reversal. She transformed into a healthy, vital, happy, stable person. A living example of self-healing, challenging many conventional medical expectations.
Truly incredible. What about pain? You mentioned Ginny.
Yes, Jenny.
Yeah.
She suffered from 2 years of severe, debilitating lower back pain due to multiple herniated discs from a work accident. Pain made walking, sitting, driving incredibly difficult, led to depression, planned spinal surgery.
A common scenario, unfortunately.
Very. During one meditation, she consciously released stuck anger, felt energy move up her spine, then an intense energy leave the back of her head. She then worked with her breath to move the pain energy into her brain, visualizing it as a purple light.
Mm-hmm.
As she did so, she felt it slow and become less intense. The result was immediate and profound.
Immediate.
Instantly after the meditation, she felt no pain, walked without limping, canceled her surgery, and has remained pain-free ever since. This illustrates the body's capacity to release stored emotional energy manifesting as physical pain, and the mind's ability to reroute that sensation.
Remarkable. And Daniel, with the electromagnetic hypersensitivity, that's a tricky one for conventional medicine.
Extremely tricky. Daniel suffered severe headaches, chronic pain, fatigue, all amplified by electromagnetic frequencies, mobile phones, Wi-Fi. It forced him to close his business, led to debt, suicidal thoughts. Doctors found nothing physically wrong.
A diagnosis of exclusion, often?
Yes. His breakthrough came when he began consistently applying these meditations, gradually experiencing less pain. During the Blessing of the Energy Centers meditation, he described seeing areas of his brain light up and a loving light shoot from his head. From that point, a significant change. He eventually meditated pain-free for 5 hours in an office full of electronics. His headaches and chronic pain completely disappeared.
5 hours surrounded by triggers.
Indeed. He now works only 1.5 hours a day, makes more money, and is completely healed. His experience highlights the profound impact of internal state on physiological response to external stimuli, even when those stimuli are widely considered environmental constants.
It suggests the sensitivity wasn't purely external.
It suggests the internal state modulated the response. Now, Felicia's journey showcases deep emotional and physical transformation. Chronic eczema for years, requiring medication, alongside inner struggles with fear. During a pineal gland meditation, she surrendered to an intense energy building in her throat, refusing to pull back despite fear. Experienced an exhilarating explosion of absolute truth and freedom.
A real breakthrough moment.
A profound one. The outcome was immediate. She felt physically lighter, a sense of fearlessness, playfulness emerged. She manifested speaking on stage from her mind movie. And most remarkably, her eczema completely resolved the very next day.
The next day.
The very next day. Remained clear without medication. Her brain scans corroborated this, showing a transition to a high-energy gamma state, 190 standard deviations above normal, with her pineal gland and emotion processing areas highly activated.
Wow, linking the subjective experience to measurable brain changes.
Precisely. Demonstrating how a profound internal emotional release can lead to immediate biological change.
And finally, Stacy, the nurse with the meningioma and hearing loss.
Yes, Stacy, a registered nurse and acupuncturist, developed a meningioma on her 8th cranial nerve, severe headaches, 70% hearing loss in her left ear, dizziness, nausea, shoulder pain. Conventional surgery was her only stated option.
A significant neurological issue.
Very. During a pineal gland meditation, she experienced an amazing flash of light, a bluish-white light, entering her ear, described as divine, loving. Despite initial doubts, a vivid red and blue energy appeared. Shot into her heart, she felt the energy of everything. The outcome was astounding. Her hearing returned to 100%.
100% from 70% loss due to a tumor.
Correct. And she felt a profound knowingness that she would be okay, indicating a deeper, permanent shift beyond just the physical symptoms. This case particularly interests the medical community, involving the resolution of a structural issue through what appears to be an internal energetic shift.
These personal accounts are incredibly moving, and they demonstrate such a consistent pattern. When individuals commit to these practices, shift their internal state, their biology responds in truly remarkable ways. It challenges us to reconsider the boundaries of healing, what's truly possible within the human system, perhaps opening new avenues for patient care even.
I believe so.
This has been an enlightening deep dive into individual transformation, but if our thoughts and emotions have such profound effects on our own biology, what about their impact on the collective, or even on the planet itself? This sounds like a huge leap.
It might sound like a leap initially, yes, but it leads us to the fascinating realm of project coherence and the idea that human consciousness isn't isolated. Our collective emotions and intentions can create measurable non-local effects. The Global Coherence Initiative, or GCI, and the HeartMath Institute have been conducting remarkable research using magnetometers to measure subtle changes in Earth's magnetic field.
Measuring the Earth's field.
They've established that the Earth's rhythms are intimately connected to solar cycles, 11-year cycles, solar flares, mass coronal ejections. This increased energy from the sun can amplify human states, whether that's incoherence, leading to stress and separation, or coherence, fostering unity and balance.
So solar activity affects us collectively.
It appears to amplify the prevailing collective state, yes. Furthermore, they investigate the Schumann resonance.
Earth's heartbeat.
Often called that, yes. It pulses at around 7.83 Hz. This natural frequency remarkably overlaps with human brainwave states, specifically low alpha and upper theta. It directly influences our balance and health. Research has shown the absence of this frequency can cause significant mental and physical distress. Studies place volunteers in Schumann frequency screen bunkers. They developed emotional distress and migraines, which result upon reintroduction of the frequency. This implies a profound biological feedback loop between human consciousness and the Earth's magnetic field.
So our own internal state isn't just self-contained, it's literally interacting with the planetary field. That's a huge shift in understanding our connection to the wider environment. It suggests our internal well-being could contribute to a larger global picture.
Absolutely. The concept of collective human consciousness suggests that our heart rhythms and brain frequencies overlap with Earth's resonance field, forming this biological feedback loop. We don't just receive information from this field, we feed information into it.
We send signals out too.
Exactly. Our thoughts, consciousness, and our emotions, energy interact with and encode information into Earth's magnetic field. This information is then distributed globally on carrier waves. Evidence from peace-gathering studies supports this. Large groups of skilled meditators, intentionally focused on heart-centered states, can influence and create measurable, non-local effects on peace and global coherence.
Measurable effects.
Measurable effects. What's crucial here is the emergence phenomenon. It's a bottom-up effect, not top-down. This means every individual contributing to coherence actively affects the whole. It demonstrates a unified mind in action.
Every person counts.
Every single person counts. We've also observed measurable collective energy shifts in our own workshops. Using highly sensitive equipment like the Sputnik antenna, which measures ambient electromagnetic fields, we've seen fascinating patterns. Initially, the energy in the room might drop, as individuals break energetic bonds with their past, drawing from the unified field to build their personal fields.
Taking energy in initially.
Yes. But once individuals become more coherent, they begin to contribute energy back to the field, leading to a steady increase in the collective energy of the room over several days.
So the room itself becomes more energized.
Correct. A particularly striking observation involved 17 people going into heart coherence simultaneously during a meditation, showing clear entrainment and non-local influence on others' autonomic nervous systems, leading to greater balance and wholeness in the group.
Wow. Instantaneous connection.
It paints a picture of how our individual states, when elevated and coherent, can ripple out and affect others, and potentially the entire planetary field.
This understanding fundamentally shifts our perspective, doesn't it? Moving from solely individual well-being to a kind of collective responsibility for our thoughts and emotions, it suggests that a more conscious, heart-centered humanity could truly create a global shift.
That's the potential, yes.
What a truly enlightening deep dive into the extraordinary nature of consciousness and healing. We've explored how our internal states profoundly impact our biology, how mental rehearsal can literally rewire our brains and bodies, and how the heart plays such a central role in transforming our health. And we've heard compelling examples of individuals overcoming severe medical conditions, not just through conventional means, but by consciously engaging their inner world.
The implications are vast for all of us, I believe, particularly within the medical profession. It's about recognizing that we are dimensional beings, not purely linear, and that our personal choices in thought and emotion aren't just for ourselves. They contribute to a larger, interconnected field, impacting not just our own health, but potentially the very fabric of our shared reality. This knowledge invites a profound paradigm shift, doesn't it? From merely surviving to actively thriving, and from an illusion of separation to the reality of oneness.
It really does. This journey of understanding and self-transformation is continuous, and your active participation in it is invaluable. If you found this deep dive thought-provoking, please consider taking a moment to rate and share this deep dive with your colleagues. Your support helps us continue to bring these important conversations to light. And perhaps as you go about your day, consider this. If knowledge truly is power, then how might embracing these principles allow us to step into an even greater potential? Not just for your own health or your patient's health, but for the collective well-being of the world around you. What would love do right now? Until next time, keep diving deep.